My name is Molade Adeniyi. I'm the CEO of a social impact not-for-profit organization called WAVE, West Africa Vocational Education. At WAVE, we are focused on trying to solve the problem of youth unemployment. So we train and upskill young people between the ages of 18 and 35 with job-ready skills, and we connect them with entry-level jobs, in a summary. Okay, so I think everybody talks about a business plan, right? A business plan is great, but a lot of times I've also heard people say that people give money to people. People give money to things rather than to a plan. So as much as you want to make your business plan as tight as possible, make sure that you articulate very clearly what the problem is. So that's the first thing. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Whether you're in a not-for-profit or you're in a for-profit sector, you need to clearly identify what that problem is. Number two, what is the solution that you're offering? Now that we have identified this problem, what is the solution that your organization is offering to be able to solve what that problem is? Number three is then looking at so many other things. Your team, who are the people that are going to be working on this, on solving this problem? Funders want to know the trajectory of the people. Where are they coming from? What have they done in the past? What is their track record? A lot of people want funding for their businesses but aren't willing to put in the time required, and funders can see that right through your business case. So know who your team is also very, very critical. And then the last part of what you need to consider is what is in it for the person who's giving you money. So what is the value that you're offering? So is it money? Some people will give you funding because they see the money that they can get back, the value they would get back. For others, it is not so much the money that they're looking for, but they're looking for something else. So maybe emit something that they take off that helps them either feel good or really speaks to that social part of them. But we need to be very, very clear. A lot of times people see the problem that you're solving, they see the solution, but they aren't able to connect it back to what does this mean for me? What will I benefit from this? So very clearly articulating what the value proposition is for the person who's actually giving you money. And sometimes that's where a lot of people actually miss the boat. So you have to be very clear. Remember the problem. State the problem, state the solution, talk a lot about the team and why the team is invested in this problem. And lastly, what is in it for the person who's going to give you money. So first of all, there's lots of grants out there. The first thing I would say is your ability to be able to find those grants. Now, it's not every single grant that you find that is for you. A lot of times you find people who, whatever grant comes their way, they quickly go in to apply. With every single grant you find, you need to first of all ask yourself, what is this organization who's funding? What are they looking for? Do I actually meet their criteria? There's no point lying on your grant application to get the money because you will get caught out at the end of the day. But the thing that I find that works most with me with grants is storytelling. So I like to talk about stories. If you remember, I said earlier, people would invest in people as opposed to really invest in a business plan. So whatever it is that you're doing, if you're able to show how the work that you're doing today solves a bigger problem, and you're able to put that into a storytelling form, you're more likely to captivate a wider range of people. So for instance, maybe I can give a little practical example. With the work that we do at WAVE, one of the ways in which I've found to be most successful in getting funding is to talk about the story of one of our alumni. So where they started from, how the program has impacted them today, and one year on, 2 years on, what they're now able to do in terms of being able to provide for not just themselves, but also their families, their siblings, their parents, and even a wider range. So the biggest thing I would say is storytelling. And you can bring in storytelling into any business. It doesn't have to be a not-for-profit. It's really just how do you tell the story of how this work we're doing is important and how your money will actually help us be able to do X, Y, and Z in the widest scheme of things. So why do people apply for external funding? First of all, the main reason is you want to scale your business. You want to grow your business, and maybe you've exhausted your personal funds. So the very first thing that people do is, oh, where do I have money? Let me find wherever I have money to pour into this business because I believe in it. But you reach a point in your business where you now want to grow, you want to scale. Maybe you want to employ new people, you want to open up a new office, or you want to expand to another region. That's when you begin to look for external funding. And external funding is important, it's necessary to help you scale and to grow. So that's a real benefit. So that's a pro of getting external funding. It helps you grow. In addition to external funding, I would say as well, funders not only give you money, sometimes they also give you expertise as well. So depending on who you get money from, they would also be able to support you with, it might be things like marketing, it might be things like communication, it might be things like finance. So always look for that as well. I always say look beyond just the money they're giving, but what else is the funder able to give you? So that's it. That's a big pro to why we should get external funding. The con, I'm sure that's not alien to anyone. The biggest thing is the payback, right? Hence the reason why I say don't be greedy with the money that you're trying to get. You need to look at your finances properly to ensure that you're able to pay back or you're able to meet up to the requirements of the funder. The last thing you want is for someone to come and take over your business because you're not able to meet the requirements. So when you begin to apply for funding, start small is what I would always say. Start small, learn fast, and grow big. Once you begin to learn the ins and the outs, the tricks, you also know where you can save some money, how you can do things in a more cost-effective manner. You also open up your doors to more funders because they see that you can actually manage the money and they actually get the returns that they need. So the biggest con is just being able to pay back. The other con that I would say is if you don't have the right team in place to manage the funding. So a lot of times we get funding and it's just us, maybe me as the CEO or the MD of the organization. I'm the same person who's also managing the finances, and I'm also the same person who's running the business, etc. What happens with that is you will drop the ball in some instances. So my biggest advice is when you begin to get external funding, make sure that you're also building the team that can help you manage that. So you can start off with an in-house finance person, or you can actually outsource it depending on what works for you.